it's Dr. Danielle here from Pembroke Pines, Florida. Mom, physical therapist, rehab specialist. I wanted to come on here again for Feel Good Friday. And what are we going to be talking today about on Feel Good Friday? It's going to be addressing one of the main causes of your shoulder pain, which is my shoulder pain related to a muscle or tendon issue? Now, if you recall in our last talk, we talked about three main causes of your shoulder pain, which could be a muscle-related issue, a joint issue, and a nerve issue. So for the purposes of today's talk, we're going to dive right into if I'm having a shoulder pain that's related to a muscle or tendon issue, what would I be experiencing? What are some of the common diagnoses that we find if it's a muscle-related issue? And what are my treatment options and who's more likely to be affected? So let's start off with what would I be experiencing if I'm more likely to have an issue related muscle or tendon and that's causing my shoulder pain. You're more likely to have difficulty raising your arm, whether forward, out to the side, or back, due to either weakness or lack of range of motion. You could also have increased pain as you're moving your arm in any of those directions. That's indicative of muscle-related issue. If your pain is worse at night or it interrupts your sleep, it's considered a muscle-related issue. Now, let's go over 2 to 3 of the common diagnoses. One of them that you might hear or come across if you've ever researched or looked into your shoulder issue is one called a rotator cuff tendonitis. Now, tendonitis is a big word, but we already learned rotator cuff from my last talk, and that, just to refresh, it's the 4 tendons, made up of 4 tendons in your shoulder that allows your shoulder to move in multiple directions. So you can develop what's called a tendonitis in one or more of those 4 tendons. And what that means is just a swelling or inflammation to the tendon itself. And who are more likely to have that kind of an issue? Is it a woman 35 to 50 years old is really common, and anybody who does manual labor, repetitive manual labor, or playing any kind of sport that you're repetitively throwing, such as baseball, softball. So let's talk about what are my treatment options. If you're having shoulder pain and you're not sure what it is, it just started in the last 2 to 3 days, we usually approach that with a very conservative approach of just rest, ice, and maybe some kind of pain relieving cream. Now, if you're having this longer than 2 to 3 days and it's more like weeks and months, then I'd suggest that we see your primary care physician, see an orthopedic specialist, and or your licensed physical therapist, depending on where you are. You want to be able to address this because having a shoulder issue prolonged will eventually turn into a bigger problem over time. So you either lose range of motion, you lose strength, your muscle mass gets less, or you could actually, from an irritation, a constant irritation of the tendon during your daily activities, you could actually tear the tendon, which is another diagnosis of what we call a rotator cuff tear. So it's very important that we not ignore the signs and symptoms of our shoulder pain, and if we think it might be muscle related, is to get it addressed if it is longer than 2 to 3 days or longer than a week. So that's our talk for today for Feel Good Friday. Listen, if you are having that shoulder pain that you think might be muscle related, feel free to reach out to me. You can DM me. You can share this out to your friends. We want to make sure that everybody stays informed and understands what might be going on with your shoulder, and if not, get the necessary care, and we can decide what the course of treatment will be and how to get you healthier. Have a great one. Thank you for signing on, and I'll see you next Friday where we'll talk more about If my shoulder pain is related to the joint, what would I be experiencing and what are my treatment options? Have a good day, everyone. Talk to you soon.